Today I'm going to be recreating this card that I've made here, which is using a design that's brought to us by Joanna Sheen and a new stamp range called HOOT, featuring this lovely fun owl, which on the card I've actually made coordinating it with a Cute Companions CD to get the fun element and match the balloon design in. So I'm going to show you how to go about doing this card. I want to do it using Promarkers. I'm going to stamp using Memento ink pad so that the Promarkers won't bleed through, and I'm using a paper from Staples, which is a text and graphic 160 GSM paper. So stamp your design. I tend to do 2 or maybe 3. Sometimes you might not hold the image down correctly, stamp it, and you can just use part of the image. See here, I've made it because I didn't press down correctly or moved it. It's distorted the log image here, but here it's perfectly normal and crisp. So here I would use the balloon and the head as well for the stamped image, so it's not wasted. And then also I'm going to do a little present stamp as well. So for this isn't necessarily the correct way of doing it, but it's one that I find works very well for me. I'm going to be using these colours, which are the umber, henna, the raw sienna and sandstone. With the Memento pad it really stands well colouring over. You can get the crisp lines still. So this is just me showing you how I would do it, and that's to go over the edge with the dark pen, missing out the like the bow, because I'm going to be using a lighter colour, and then just following the curves around just where I want some extra definition into my piece. And you'll see at the end how it just all comes together. Now I'm going to use the henna. So work in, but then also go over what I've just done as well. Tend to swirl around in little circular motions. And I find with colouring, part of the enjoyment is just sort of seeing what works well for you. I'm new to all this colouring, but I've found it, a real enjoyment, just learning. And raw sienna, again, if I left it like that, it perhaps doesn't look so much, but just by swirling over the whole design, just merges the colours together. I tend to leave just a lighter patch in the middle. Also, another tip I find, if you don't, you can always sort of use one part to sort of test it a bit. I'm going to go over and do the head fully, but I'm going to probably decoupage that piece as well, so if it doesn't go quite to plan, you haven't lost anything there. So it's nearly done. I'm just going to take the sandstone colour now and go over the piece, which would leave the shadow effect. And again, just go over the whole thing, circular motions. Depends which colour you want for your owl. But this is sort of quite similar to what's actually on the card that comes with the stamp, which is a sort of nice reference to be able to go back to see how it's all panning out. And right at the end, I go in with the henna, the umber, just do his feet, and his nose or beak, and then using sandstone across the eyelids, and then also I've got a icy grey through, just do part of around his eyes. And then I'm gonna, because I want the tones to be blue and green, I'm just matching the bow in green. So I've gone over here, but I'm going to be cutting that out, but you haven't lost any of the crispness of the black line. Sometimes it looks messy, but you can achieve the effect really quickly just working it. I tend to think of it as like a palette, and that you're just working it all together. So now if you take an A5 card, which I've scored from A4, and I'm going to mat onto the card and piece of mounted with silver mirror backing paper. And here I've done the same. I've taken the I think it's the note paper side of the feature on this CD, because it's got a nice faded part to it, and then just put my sentiment down the bottom with typing that in. And I've stamped the image here basically so I can get the string of the balloons in, so I don't have to draw that freehand. I've cut my owl stamped image out, and also I've gone ahead and done the log feature for you, and I've just added tiny bits of orange in there, and again gone over with the sandstone just to give that little bit of extra depth. And then I'm going to take my pin flare glue and just glue it to the underneath image. You can actually go round and colour in underneath if you want, but for this piece I'm just going to show you how I do it. You're not really going to see anything because I've beveled it over. I'm going to take the, also coloured in a separate head, just to give a little bit of extra dimension. And then the balloons I've coloured in. And again I've just used two colours. I've gone round the outside with a one of the new colours, which is the azure, and then we've got Arctic blue, which I've just done on the slight edge, but just giving that shaded effect. And then I've stamped on the presents, just gone over with the blue, and then gone over with the darker blue, and then just put glossy accents on the hearts and the bows. And that just helps give a little bit of extra dimension, and you can just put it in the side of your card, and that's your completed card. Hope you enjoyed today's workshop.